landed in a tree.
Yeah. Bombardier landed in the tree.
Yeah, and a German kid kept him down and told him to follow him, you know. And he followed him and took him right into where I was. Otherwise, he could have got away. And little by little, they brought all of us except the top gun and the pilot. They were loose for a while. I think the pilot was loose for about a week. And he told me he got so darn hungry, he walked in the grocery store and just started eating. And they called the stuff, and of course they picked him up, and the driver got caught somewhere. And he was loose for a couple of weeks anyway. But the rest of us caught.
Tell us about the POW experience.
Well, the POW experience was, they sent us to, I think, Munich. And then from Munich we had to walk to they had an interrogation center there where, and I didn't have any shoes, I just had my boots with a heated suit. Normally they tie your shoes on your suit somewhere, so in case you got something to walk with. It was I walked about half a mile, or maybe longer than that. And boy, I mean, it was tough with them boots, you know. But anyway, we got up there. They put you in a room, asked your name, you know. I gave my name, and you want to know where you came from. Those my number, my ID number. I gave my number, and that's it. So then I got thrown in the dungeons. Stayed there all night. Next day they bring me back up again. Start asking the same thing. They want you to sign something, put names of whoever you came with, you know. I kept on my ID number, and I don't know how long it went on. One time they put somebody else in the dungeon with me, and we were told that they do that, you know. So you start talking with them, you know, get friends with them, and then you ask you questions, you tell them what they want to know. I didn't talk to me, didn't talk to me, so he must have been an American. And one of the days when they called me up there, he told me he had that paper out there, and I just took a pencil and put a big X on the paper. He smacked me, and I fell off the chair. He was a no guy. I could have killed him in about 5 minutes. And come the guard, the gun drug me out, and that was the end of my interrogation group. Then I got checked to a staging area where I guess they decided where to ship you to, and I wound up in Poland, Stalag 4. And of course, when the Russians came, they moved us from Stalag 4. Half of us, they put in boxcars. The other half, they marched. They had Fort March. And the boxcar had about 90 or 100 of us in that boxcar. And then 40x just jammed, you know. And I think that's the worst experience that I ever had in my life. And somebody had a blanket, and they tied it up on one corner or the other, and they threw me up in. And I stayed there. I don't remember getting out. And how many days were on the train, and we go to the far stop. I remember getting out once, you know. And they took us to Stalag 1, which was in Bar, Germany. And once you were in a camp, you know, of course we got liberated by the Russians anyway. But they had orders to the commander. The Air Force respected our Air Force, and we respected theirs. The commander we had told our commander that they had orders from Berlin, machine guns before they left. So we tore the floors and dug foxholes, you know. But one morning we woke up, there was nobody there. The guards were gone. In fact, I understand they wanted us to take them prisoners, and we turned it down. We didn't want to have any arguments with the Russians. So they just, one morning we looked up and they were all gone. And the Russians came, and they weren't too happy the way we received them. They wanted us to be more enthusiastic, so they wanted us to tear everything down. The barracks and all. We said, we'll tear the barbed wire down, not the barracks. So that's what we did. We had 20,000 guys tearing barbed wire, the fences down, the towers, and the Russians. But anyway, that's what happened there.
How long were you captain?
From October 6th to when the war ended, May, we're in there. About 7 months.
So you were liberated. Describe what it was like when you came back to America. I've asked all the veterans this. The trip home, as well as coming back into New York, wherever you came in.
Well, the trip home was bad. I had a chance to fly home. I don't know why I didn't want to fly. So I came back on one of the Liberty ships. They're made out of concrete. They put 40 of us in there, and I got sick. That thing was like this, coming back, like just up and down. The crew was out of the water half the time, and I got sick. I was in my bunk 8 days, and they finally, the Coast Guard come up. They took me upstairs, and they started throwing medicine ball at me, you know. I felt good, so I went on PP with the Coast Guard, and I ordered what I started eating. When I felt it the last 6 days, that was great, you know. Ate good, and whatever I wanted, they fixed for me, pork chop steak. And we were supposed to get, I thought we were supposed to go to New York, but we landed at Newport News, Virginia. They had a big reception for us, people out there, bands playing and waving. And we stayed there overnight. They put us on a train. There was 40 of us. And we were on the train, and this, I think he was a colonel or a captain or something, says, the first time we stop, everybody go town and get a bottle. So the first time we stopped, you know, by a town, everybody jumped in, we brought back a bottle of whiskey. And okay, he says, start drinking. I don't know when I passed out. I passed out some drunk. And when I woke up, he was the only guy standing. Yeah. And he came up to me, he wanted to give me a drink. And then after that, for, I don't know, for 2 or 3 weeks, every time I ate something, I couldn't hold, you know. Well, I went to a doctor when we got to Fort Leavenworth. I went to a doctor, and I told him I can't hold my food. He said, what'd you do? I said, I got drunk. And gave me some big bottles of stuff. And before I eat, I take a drink, and I could hold my food, you know. And so after a couple of weeks, I sat down, and I did good.
Now, the time to come back to Omaha. Describe your arrival.
Well, what bothered me, I think, was I didn't know how my mother was. I was afraid to call home. I didn't call home till I got, I was in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. I was afraid to call home because I was worried about how my mother was, you know. So I finally called, you know, and I talked to my brother Don, and I asked him how. He says, where you at? I told him, I'm down here. I'll be home in a few hours, you know. And I said, how's Ma? Ma's fine. And I had a girlfriend. I left, and I says, how's my girlfriend? He said, I'll tell you when you get back. Well, I'll tell you when you get back. So when I got back, you know, well, my mother was hugging so tight I thought I was going to die, you know, because all the neighbors around, everybody celebrating and having a big time. And she had a dog that hated me, a little, about this big, you know, the white poodle. And he just, that dog and I didn't get along at all, you know. And so finally, I asked my brother Don, what about? He said she got married. That ended that episode. But otherwise, I just got back home, and I think I had a 60-day leave. And then I went back to, I went back to San Antonio, Texas. And we were there in San Antonio, I think it was July or something. So hot and dusty. And so there was 4 of us from Omaha. And we took this Texan into giving us a ride to Omaha. And this is how far is Omaha from Texas? About 500 miles. Well, from San Antonio to the border of Texas, about 600 miles, almost. So we said, we'll give you $100 if you take us home. He said, okay. So we get border of Texas. He says, I've gone 600 miles. Where's Omaha? This is 500 miles from here. You guys didn't tell me that. I said, well, we told you 500 miles from Texas. He was going to go back, but we talked him into taking us up, you know, so he did. And had a car, a 38 Oldsmobile. So we stayed in Omaha about a week, and we drove back to San Antonio, Texas. Well, in San Antonio, Texas, there was a PFC. When we stayed there, he'd get out in the morning, you know, and he'd say, all right, fall out, you know, with the command sergeants, master sergeants, tech sergeants, buck sergeants, all of us were at least sergeant or better. We saw out the window, you punk it out of here, we'll kill you. So they sent a lieutenant to get us. So we get back to our barracks, there was nothing there. They had shipped out, and PFC, smart PFC, come up, well, you guys are in trouble, the colonel wants to see you. Well, get out, we know the colonel, we'll find him ourselves. So we went over there, and he says, where'd you go? We told him. He says, well, turn right around, go back to Fort Leavenworth, I'll pay your dam, your mileage for your car, and you guys enjoy yourself. You know, actually, I suppose we could get commercial because of the wall. But, so we come back, and then we got discharged, and we come back home and ended my service career.
You spent your rookie career at the Union Pacific Railroad until you retired, and you went on our first honor flight. And the World Herald did a story about you, Sam, about being a prisoner of war, and people that you worked with all those years never knew that you were a POW.
I don't think I ever talked about it much. I don't think I told my wife. She knew I was, but I never talked about it. I still don't feel like I'm happy about talking about it. I think I'd keep fighting the war and being a prisoner.
Why did you feel it was important to join the service, to serve your country? Why?
Well, I don't know. One took my physical. I passed it. I was the happiest kid in the neighborhood. When I come back and told my mother, she started crying. I couldn't understand it, you know. But I was just happy as a lark. I passed the physical. I was going to service. But she just, I don't know. I couldn't understand why she was crying. But I know I do understand why she was crying.
Final question. This interview will be seen after your death. Is there anything that you want future generations to know about your generation and what your generation did?
Well, you should remember that I think what our generation did, whatever was asked of us, we did it. 99% of us did it. We didn't give them any hard time about it. We did what we were supposed to do without complaining or bitching about it. We did it, and I think we're all happy that we were able to do it and come back and survive what happened. And I'm sorry for the poor one never made it back.
All right, I want you to look at Jay in the camera. I want you to salute, hold your salute until Jay tells you that's good. So look in the camera, give a salute, hold it.